Internet, Zafe here. Days Gone is an open-world zombie survival game with a focus on narrative and a rideable motorbike that's an integral part to the whole experience. Core gameplay mostly follows what you'd expect from a typical modern-day open-world game, with only a few attempts to differentiate itself from others. Storytelling and characters definitely have their emotional moments, but sadly the whole game is dragged down by some pretty bad PlayStation 4 technical problems. Days Gone is by no means a bad game. If you really put the time and effort into Days Gone, you will get to experience glimpses of excellence.
I remember when our homes and our towns turned into graveyards. When the wilderness became our only hope for survival.
Days Gone revs up with our main protagonist, Deacon St. John, also known as Deke, a former outlaw who has joined the Mongols Motorcycle Club. A worldwide pandemic causes the death of most of humanity, or has them transformed into mindless zombies, known only as freakers. 2 years later, we follow a broken Deke who has lost his wife, and the only thing he has left is Boozer, his best friend considered brother. That's right, yet another modern-day post-apocalyptic game, but this time with a motorbike. It's undeniable that the world of Days Gone is visually impressive. It's a bit more on the realistic side, obviously aside from the brain-eating freakers. A feature that the game boasts is its dynamic weather system, which allows for the game world to suddenly change pretty drastically. Rain can dampen sound, perfect for stealth, while snow turns the world into a wintry wonderland, which can make traversing with the bike more difficult. There's also a pretty cool day and night system that can change the behaviour of freakers. There's a variety in types of freaker mutations. Newts are freaky infected children which are a little bit more devious and passive, only becoming hostile when backed into a corner or opportunity arises. The only thing more horrifying than child zombies are the hordes of freakers, which swarm in a terrifying hive-like mindset, very effective at suddenly filling you with dread, urgency and panic. Storytelling is mostly told through cutscenes and your motorbike, which is used as a tool to convey dialogue with the radio as you're traversing the world. Gotta say, I do really like Sam Witwer's voice acting work behind Deke. Deke just comes across as a normal, somewhat relatable person. You don't really have any choices to be made in the story. This is Deke's story, but the game was originally shown to have a choice system that would offer different outcomes and directions in the story. Just be aware, choices were removed as the developers wanted to tell a particular story and more realistically cut down on the development time. With the developers behind Days Gone having also worked on the portable Uncharted series, you can definitely feel the similarities in the gunplay. Sneaking around and making stealthy kills is completely optional, but something you'll definitely want to make use of, at least until you're caught out. It's the post-apocalypse and you're obviously going to want to conserve as much ammo and supplies as possible. Taking every opportunity possible to loot and scavenge supplies will net you useful potential ingredients. For the somewhat limited crafting system, I'd always be crafting new bandages, Molotov cocktails and using scrap to repair my melee weapons. Your motorbike is a critical component to the game and in a way an extension of Deke. Brilliant for traversing the open world and offers the opportunity for fast travel. Throughout the game you'll even get the opportunity to upgrade and customize your bike. Sounds great, but you're going to want to take a lot of care of your bike as it can be quite high maintenance, needing constant repairs and refueling. It can be a bit double-edged when you're slowly pushing your bike home that's ran out of fuel. Honestly, general freakers are the absolute most horrifying type of low-level zombie to deal with, because they're not the usual sluggish and slow type of zombies. They're the dreaded fast and speedy zombies that will sprint at you full speed. You can't straight up outrun them, so imagine the urgency and panic involved in dealing with hordes of hundreds of them. Luckily there's loads of environmental objects perfect for exploiting and making death traps. The open world formula is a little bit generic and doesn't offer much that hasn't already been done before. Missions and side quests can get very repetitive. You'll often see the same types of quests repeated. Bounty hunts, clear an area of hostiles, and my least favourite missions which involve sneaking up to and listening in on NPC conversations. But stick at the game and more interesting activities do become available, including taking out those massive freaker hordes. Small skill trees are also available, skill points being earned through experience points. Most of the skill trees offer very small bonuses, but occasionally extremely powerful upgrades, like getting the ability to see enemies through walls or removing recoil and improving weapon accuracy. The 3 skill trees offer improvements in gunplay, melee and survival skills. You don't really have to worry about skill decisions that much, as you'll reach the end of all 3 trees way before the end of the game. Even with Days Gone being exclusive to the PlayStation 4, there's a truckload of optimization and technical problems. I've fallen through the floor to my death a few times, there's loads of frame rate dips, there's texture pop-in, and throughout my playthrough my personal PlayStation 4 crashed and completely shut down 6 times. It's pretty rough and it has had an impact on my enjoyment of the game. Days Gone borrows from a lot of other successful modern day games, but does little to try and differentiate itself. Getting to exterminate hordes of freakers is my personal favourite and most unique feature of the game. While the motorbike is great for getting around, it's really high maintenance. On the visual side, weather effects stand out and help the world feel even more immersive, proving the experience of Days Gone in its entirety. For myself, the story didn't initially grab my attention, but throughout the game and after some fleshing out of the characters, it definitely had its moments, which to be honest is how I would describe a lot of the elements of the game. Don't judge the game by initial impressions, you really have to invest yourself to get the full experience. Days Gone is overall pretty good, just be aware that there are some technical problems. It might be worth researching if these technical problems have been patched out before purchasing. And you might want to wait for a discount, as it might not be worth the full £50 or $60 asking price if you're a little fatigued by open world games or zombies. Tempted to play Days Gone? Already played it? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed the review, hit the like button or smash that subscribe button to see my other gaming content. Thank you for watching and bye for now.